I was just going to go into really what we're up to energetically, how things are sort of working for us at the moment and have been for a little while. And what we are experiencing now is, you know, I mean, we all know there's a huge shift going on. It's major out there at the moment. It has been for a long time, for in particular these last 4 or 5 years, but you know, we can say all our life, really, the whole gamut. Because it's been pretty intense this lifetime, and particularly if you're an old soul, coming in and having to really go through a lot of what you've been, you know, sitting in for many lifetimes. There's a lot of real, like, entrenched stuff that we had to really dive deeply to find. And what I'm finding now is that more and more is surfaced to, you know, to be quite shallow. So we're not actually having to go through, hi Derek, not actually having to dive so deep and to retrieve any of this. It's surfacing whether you want it to or not. It's just going to vibrationally on the planet. Of course, everything's really shifting, and you know this. I mean, you can feel it. Cells are resonating with this frequency more and more and more. And it's just starting to rain. I might have to step inside, but we'll just leave it for a minute. And what has happened, you know, if you didn't see the live that I did around the big light shift that we had, the huge big wave of light energy that came through and around the Lion's Gate, and then, hi Lisa, and then in around the blue moon, I think that was in that August, very big huge light wave that I did a live on, which you'll find on my page. If you go back down the page a wee bit, you'll see that there. And if you didn't listen to it, listen to it, because it's got a lot of information in it as well around how to move yourself through where we're at. And so in that time when we had that huge big light wave that came through, I said in there that we'd been moved and shifted into a new timeline, right? Remember me saying that? Well, in that point in time, I couldn't see what that was going to look like for us, right? Because we were just shifted into it. And I think I described a very vivid, in dream state. It wasn't dream, it was a vision of, and being shown where we were, and that there was a time shift, a timeline shift, exactly that. So, you know, all confirming, all self-telling self, yes, you're on track, that's exactly what's happening. So in that now, what's happening, because we're a little bit down the track from that, what I'm able to see now is what that new timeline is looking like. And what you know, I've been checking it before I got on here to say anything, because that's me. I always like to check it out and make sure that we've got the correct information. But what is showing up is that we have now moved from our past experiencing into a future timeline. Now, we weren't able to be in the future timeline. We hadn't got there. And pardon me, some might have thought we were, but we actually weren't. We were still in this timeline of, in that very old timeline that we've been trying to traverse through and move, you know, integrate and allow to move through, navigate our way through it. And we are, you know, the older souls of us and those who have come in that 144,000, you know, wave of souls, we are pioneers. We are the pioneers. We've come forward. We're the way showers, yes, but pioneers is the word I like to use, because it is like what we did was we came in and we actually were working hard, and it was hard. I mean, shit, it was a hard trip, but we've done it. So what we did was we came in to move energy, to bring more light, to work through the hard stuff in our body, you know, cellular, all the stuff that you've been doing. We came in to do that, but what the main thing that we came to do was to shift out of the old traditional states of this is how we always have to do it. And so a lot of us have been rule breakers. A lot of us have had this real deep inner knowing within us, our soul just pushing us to be free. So anyone telling us what to do, how to do it, we're just sort of like middle finger up going, we're going to do it, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. And so we came in to break a lot of the old tradition around authority mainly. And things that just don't work. You know, there's this funny little story about this woman whose mother always cooked the ham in a, you know, for Christmas in an oven dish. And this oven dish was always too small for the ham, right? But this is what mum always did. And then the daughter grew up and she used the same pan or did the same thing, and then the granddaughter did the same thing, and it was like this tradition. But in the granddaughter's era, she decided, why are we always putting it in a dish that's too small, and actually changed the program. I mean, it's such a silly little simple thing, but that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. So in that, what we did, these pioneers that we are, have come in to shift it for those who are coming in behind us, right? So we knew we were here to change all of this old tradition to make way for the new children to come forward, so they didn't have to repeat, and they didn't have to, you know, like as an example, when we were younger, when we were in our young years and teens, we couldn't have made a lot of money from doing art or ski boarding, skateboarding, you know, trail bike riding, all the things that we have now opened way for these children and these new ones to actually be able to be really creative in their flow of self, so that they can actually earn a living from it all. And that's what we've done. We've broken through a lot of the old traditional things that kept us bound in the old, in many, many, many ways. Like, you know, and we know that what's going on in the globe. I mean, there's lots of stuff breaking down. So now that we've done this, where we are right now is that we've actually done it. We've actually tripped ourselves into a new timeline that is now out of all of that old story, all of those old traditional stories and timelines that we were in. We've done it. So high five to you all, because you've all helped do this, right? We've all been working, like I say, very deeply within our bodies, deeply within our emotional program, the cellular, all of the stuff, right? So now we're on this future timeline, and this is what I can see now, is that this future timeline, it's really important for us now to actually put through positive into this new timeline. So into your future, because where we're at with this is that this is, and again, I want to say to you, it's not about what do you want anymore, it's about what do you wish to experience. So think about everything as experiencing. And that's where you'll shift some of the old narratives, some of the old language, some of the old thinking, if you think more about experiencing. And I've always said, if you think also around energy, vibration, that there shifts you from an emotional space into an energetic space. If we've got things going on with somebody and you have worked on your emotional stuff within that, of course, because it is always about emotional as well, the triggers, the whole gameplay. But if you've done all that and these people are still there, and you look at this and you look at it more energetically, this is actually not working for me. And what we tend to do is we get very emotional about relationship, and we stay in them longer than we probably should or need to, because we're emotionally connected. But if we look at it energetically, what we do is we see that energetically we're not in the same frequency. And that for me makes it easy for me to make decision around where I'm heading and what I'm up to. I'm not an attachment, you know, I'm not saying I'm not ever, and I'm not anymore in any area. I have attachments, I have connections to people that I don't really want to move away from or sever ties to, because they're beautiful, and so why would I want to? But if they're not energetically filling you and the frequency is very different and it's not working, then it's like trying to stick that square peg in a round hole. It's like that. And energetically, you'll feel the prickles, you'll feel the uncomfortable, all of that sort of thing. So when we, with this now, with this energetic timeline that we're on now, for you to really project into it your most positive, whatever it is you really want your life to be, because I know, and I get really excited about this, I'm going to put out some workshops and some, I don't know, teachings. I'd love to be able to really teach people how to bring that frequency in that is around your fast manifestations, you know, creating your world the way you really want it to be. It's not all about, it is very much about, but it's not all about. It is very much, as you know, about the cellular programming and releasing all the emotional time. To all of this wounding, right? We know this, but once you get through your wounding and where we are on this future timeline, if you've come into that future timeline now, then you don't need to look so much at what you're not. It's more about what you are and really filling yourself up in that space. And with that, with your gifting, with your knowing of who you really are. Because if you've come into the future timeline, you have a good understanding about who the heck you are. So actually action that into being now, more and more and more and more. Really deeply, really deeply. Feel yourself in that love space for you. Feel the love that you have. Let your body vibrate in that frequency of love and higher love, that joy that you are. Allow that, absolutely, Jay, the creative flow. And that creative flow is you. It's you creating you into you. That's what it's about. If we hold that back and we stop that by any of our old wounding, you know, which it takes us, you know, through stages, and doesn't always happen all at once, as we all know. It's taken us years, you know, to move through this stuff. But most of you have done that now, and so I think what I'm really trying to say is stop looking for your wounds. Like, if you don't feel that you've got any major wounds left, just let those threads of those old ones move off with your new projection of self into this new timeline. So in the future, looking forward and having a look at what is it you truly wish to experience in your life now. What do you really truly wish to experience? What you will experience is a shift in the frequency within your body when you start looking into that and feel into those parts of self now, that if there's a part of you that you feel, okay, hang on, I just want to back up. If we say look at our wharis, right, our homes, we come into those homes. Remember, this home here is an extension of this home here. And the vehicle that we drive is an extension of this vehicle. So just always sort of keep that in mind in a sense. But when you look at the home that you come into, when you go away or you go out for the day and then you come home, what do? You do the same, probably, habitual thing that you do. You put your keys in the same place, the handbag in the same place. It's like we don't shift things up. And this is what this time's about now. It's about shifting it up a bit, changing things to the point where you feel as though you're actually bringing in new experience. So even by just shifting what you do when you walk into your home every time you go out, and where you put your things, what you do, how you park up in the afternoon if you do, you know, change some of the routine. Switch it up a bit so that you're not locked in to some habitual state of being that is just forever doing the same thing over and over. And the more we do a lot of those things, the more we get, in a sense, lazier and become more of that as well. And that's something else to look out for. It's now about walking the talk, more so than ever. Not just talking it and expecting others to come along with that and knowing that, okay, yeah, she said that forever, but I actually don't see that she's doing any of that. It's time now to put it all into play. But for you to consider your own personal stuff. What is it you really desire to do? How do you want your lifestyle to be? What is your lifestyle that you wish to live? Those things are very important to think about. And how, if they're not in alignment with, say, your family, and I'm not saying kick all your family out and go it alone, it might be exactly what you choose to do, and if that's what you choose to do, that's cool. I've given up trying to fit in with others. I don't do that anymore. I am, you know, the drummer of my own drum, and I walk to that beat. I don't now consider too much anyone else. I know that sounds like it, you know, even me saying it, I'm thinking, oh my God, that sounds really harsh, because I have children, but they live their life and they don't consider me in every decision they make in their life, and I love that. I want them to be free. I don't want them to be bound to me and conditioned by my thinking and my way. So it's more and more that sort of thing. But what I was going to say, if your family and you aren't in alignment, then find an alignment that works for you. And like I say, it does not always about kicking your family out and doing it alone. I've been doing it alone for 20 years. I love it. I have no desire for a relationship as such. A relationship. I fulfill me. I fulfill me in every way. It's not necessary. Before I thought I needed it, but I don't. So all of that, it's looking at every single aspect of your life, looking at where and what you may need to shift to bring yourself into that future timeline. If you're going to consider being up there doing this and having, you know, whatever the dream is, whatever the big dream, like, it is time to dream big, get those big dreams into play. And don't look at what the world's freaking doing. Don't pay attention to that. You know, there's things happening already. You know, there's a lockdown in terms of a rest home, COVID lockdown. Then I just giggled. I was in such shock. I thought, are you for real? Like, actually? So, you know, this is not what we're about anymore. It's just not. And don't buy into any of it. Laugh it off if you think you might get into some fear around it. Just laugh it off, because it's a laugh, it's a joke. And if you want to buy into it, you'll buy into it. But honestly, stay away from it all. Live the life you choose to live, like really in your own integrity, your own sovereignty, your strength, your mind, your heart. Fill that, live it, and everything else will flow with you. Everything else will flow with you. What we tend to do is we tend to think we have to flow with that out there, flow with this person over there if they're in our home. All of that. No. Turn it all around. So what's going to happen in the body more and more, and what I do feel too, is that there is going to be a lot of breaking down out around you, like collapsing. Because what's happened is we've done so much of the internal collapsing, breaking down all this stuff, you know, integrating all the old wounding and all the old stuff, and you know what all that is. We've done such a huge job at moving all of that. Now, when we move something in here, there's always this external out there that shifts with that, right? So you're shifting this internal stuff, it's going to shift the external out around you. So you're going to see things shift and change without around you that are now going to, and they may look, I don't know, it's like, don't try and hold on and cling and grab them back in, because remembering this is part of your internal shift, and this stuff is not necessary for you to have it in your life any longer. And it doesn't mean that you're going to lose everything, because you won't. It's just trusting that if that's moving away, or that person, or that relationship, or that job, or that house, or that town even, maybe even that country, if you're feeling those big pulls to go and change, make those big changes, just purely trust your inner prompting is right for you. Trust it, and trust that every single thing, every being, the all, this universal all, this creative all, will have your back, because you're honouring you. So it really falls falls into place when you really consider you stay in your integrity, your sovereign being, and just trust it. It will absolutely honor you. You honor you. This is where, you know, we think it's the other way around sometimes. We think we have to like give up our stuff and our things to fit in with everything else. And if I don't do that, then I won't get the respect, or I won't get the, you know, the kindness back, or whatever the thing. But actually, it's not until you turn all of that around and you start giving it to you first. And I had to learn that in big hard ways, actually, because I was fearful of letting go other things I could just flick on. A bit of a funny thing, but I think we all are. We have the contrast within us for sure, all of us, where I could just flick something really quickly and know, absolute, that's not for me. But when it came to emotional connections with people particularly, I was very slow at letting them go, and I'd hold on because I didn't want to feel the pain, and I didn't want them to feel pain. Mostly it was about them. So in the end, when I actually did, it was such a relief, and it was always a great flow on. That was such a positive way and expansion for me in my own personal growth. And this is what this is about. So this future timeline that we are now on, again, I want to high five you all, because you've now done it. Like, we've actually done it. We've flipped this world now. There's no turning back. And what you will become is a bridge for others to come over into. And it's not about dragging them, kicking and screaming, because it just isn't. You can't do that. And you would know yourself as a very feisty soul that there's no way that anyone could do that to you. That you were going to be kicking and screaming, and you were not going to just go because they said you had to. We were always here to have our own freedom, to bring in our own sovereign being and be free. That's what your soul is calling you to. So it's about standing up with others, yes, but it's also about honouring yourself. So you cannot, and it's honouring others and allowing everyone to be where they need to be in their own personal growth. It might not be in alignment with you, so what? Just leave them to it. And it's hard in respect to that as a parent when your children are, we might say, falling by the wayside a wee bit, but you have to let them do what they've got to do. And again, that can be difficult when we're watching and we know that, oh my God, that choice there is just going to create some shit. But we have to let them learn it. We had to learn it. And I know for myself, somebody said to me, Mandy, why do you do that thing there when you know what it's going to do and how hard it's going to be? I said, because I have to. I just know I have to. So sometimes we have to do things, even when we know they're not going to play out the best way for us, because there's something in there that we need to learn. Well, that's the same as everyone else. So we've got to allow them to be able to do that for themselves. We can stand on the sideline and hold a hand when it's needed, or when they've fully got it and they're really ready to jump on and cross that bridge with us, then we can really hold their hand and bring them with us. But otherwise you cannot drag them. It's just not going to work. So no more rescuing, no more trying to fix everything. There's that, my grandson, you know, when he was little, he said, his mother said, oh, I'll do your seatbelt for you, buddy. And he goes, you worry about yourself. You worry about yourself. And he put his hand up like this. And I mean, he had it. He didn't need her help. This is where we're up to. You worry about yourself. Don't concern yourself about everyone else, and actually not about what's going on in the world. Stay away from all that information. You might think it's growing you, and maybe there's points in there that might be, but actually what it's doing is it ruins your vibrational frequency. Even when it's stuff about, oh yes, but the white hats are doing this and they're going to fix all that and all this stuff here's happening. Well, all well and good. When I see it out there, I'll see it. But otherwise, what I'm doing is I'm following my path. I see things in my world that are absolutely that. that are absolutely in alignment with me, that's at the most joyous points of my life and my being. I don't need anything else. I honestly, so stay away from all of that sort of news. It only creates lesser vibration in your body. Allow more light. Light is your friend, right? And we know this. We know that, you know, we might have all jumped into some dark, shadowy stuff at times, and we know what that feels like. It's not about trying to, you know, you've heard the words, God, I can't even think of them now. Spiritual bypassing, you know, we've talked about that before. And it's not about pretending like as an example, you know, when National got in, when it was our election, and I said, oh, we're really now. That was a moment for me of feeling the human, emotional, looking into the world shite. And as soon as that was done, in that instant, I was back out of it again, because I knew that doesn't serve me. It's not my game. I'm not interested, actually, you know. So in that moment, what I recognised was that I still had thoughts, feelings, actions and emotions around it. So therefore, go and process that. When have I felt like this before? What happens is people feel that, not pretend, I don't want to say that word, but just park it up over here and let's go out and just be all happy and joyful. Meanwhile, that stuff there's brewing away within them on a deeper level that is actually going to start building more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. And what we're doing is we're not actually clear in the body. We need to be clear in the body. So don't try and trick yourself into believing that you're this happy, happy, joy, joy, when actually over here and just in here somewhere, there's these feelings of, I'm really pissed off, I didn't want that to happen. Acknowledge that. Be truthful with yourself. You don't even have to say it to anyone else. Just be honest with yourself and bring yourself into the truth and honesty of that within yourself, and allow yourself to process through those emotions. You'll quickly come back into your heart center and into that empowered place within yourself that is your spark, your true self, your true, honest, integral, sovereign being. So no bypassing, no pretense about, yeah, the world's wonderful, when you don't actually feel that. Like, actually be really honest. And it's not you know, I never liked vulnerability. I didn't like it. I still sometimes can have little pangs of something when I'm feeling myself being vulnerable to something that's different or out of my comfort zone. But it's all growth, and that vulnerability is where you see where, like, you have to be vulnerable. You've got to be vulnerable and go into your stuff, otherwise you'll never go there. So it's only there for a moment or two or half an hour, doesn't matter. It's not much, and it absolutely is about your freedom. So, you know, in all the marches we've been in and over these last few years, that might be true and real in the sense of, yes, we're protesting for freedom out there, but we're not going to get it unless we're in here with that, unless we're deeply free within. So work on the internal, that shifts the external. That's how it works. It's not the opposite way around. And that's what I find a lot doing, is thinking they can shift it out there. It's going to make a difference in here. So future timeline, what you're doing is you're shifting, and what you're going to find now, and I think in that other live around the light wave, that big light wave, that portal, that stargate's still wide open. It's still pouring in this blanket of this gorgeous divine masculine, divine feminine that is just pure love. It's just pure love in the highest states of joy. So allow that to really enter your body, feel it, be it, you know, like emanate that, and walk your future in that space as much as you can. Obviously, you're going to have some days where you wake up, you're not that, but honestly, more and more I'm feeling it all the time, and I'm feeling that shift others around me. I can feel it. It's becoming more and more palpable, more powerful. And don't be afraid of the word power. This is the other thing that, for you to step into that future timeline, and I feel like everyone who's popped up on this live right now, you are moving in, if not already, into that future timeline. And what you're going to be able to do is assist others into that space yourself. So you're going to become more of service. And this 2024 next year is going to be that time for many of you to really step up and to really take on, I want to say, more of what you're doing. And you'll find a way, if it's not quite the way you want to do it, but you'll find a way that will work for you more and more. It'll come closer to where you are in self. I mean, things will start showing up, and tweak it. Ask. You need to ask, and you need to be clear about where you are in here with it. You know, like, do you want to have to do everything yourself? No, you don't. I'm sure you don't. You've had enough of that. That's what you've experienced in the past. So now what do you want to experience in this future here now? More unity, more clarity, more harmony, understand, all the things, bring it all in. But feel into it. Really consider where you wish to be in 5 years' time, in a year's time, in 2 years' time. Really feel into that and consider where you want to be, because you have this amazing opportunity right now, this incredible opportunity as this being walking this planet in this form, to be your best, highest, most amazing, magnificent self. Never mind what the world is doing. You do that for you. Do that for humanity. Do it for the planet. Because when you walk in that, there is no way that you're not sharing yourself with others, that you're not helping others. You don't have to put it into a business and be all that if that's not what you want to do. Just purely by you walking that in your everyday walk, you will assist others into that in their space. So be in that in your heart. Notice whether there's anything sitting in the heart space that is still stopping or hiding or, protecting. Again, we come back to trust, but just check wherever you feel you might need to just tweak, because I feel, again, any of you and all of you probably have come on to this live right now, you have moved into this future timeline that I see. And this space now is requiring you to be open, to be honest, to be in your integral sovereign self. You can't be anything other than that when you're in this space. And so have a look at where you feel that you want to be with that. Yeah? The body's going to move more into that space too. Like I can feel that shift within my form more and more. I can feel, again, it's about doing your cellular, as you know, but once you've received and moved through this light that is coming through now, you're going to shift. The cellular is going to be clearer for you. It's going to be easier for you to access. But also what's happening is how am I going to explain? So you know how we saw those rings around the body, and we're talking about those in the big light wave live that I did? Those rings are the sound body. That is, your sound body was interfered with. Well, it was, I have to say tampered with. It wasn't at its full capacity, right? So your sound body is now coming in and is now being repaired. There's a lot of new plasma light coming through. And these rings that I was seeing around bodies, around my body and around other bodies, they are the new plasma rings that are coming in to help build and repair the sound body. So your sound, toning, if you do toning, the tone in your ear, you know, that is tuning into the, and aligning and tuning into the crystals in the earth, this ringing that we hear in our ears. That's us coming more into our crystalline with the crystals of the planet, right? So we're coming into that symphony together with that, with our planet, and the crystalline body as such. So with that, what you're going to hear is different tones. You're going to, you know, already we're seeing different colours in the skies. You know, our sky, I mean, vibrant, beautiful, different colours. And so this is the tones. You're going to, some of you who haven't been toning or doing light language and those sorts of things, all of that's going to start, maybe, not all, not everyone, of course, everyone's very different, and you'll choose to do different things with different gifts that you've got, so it's not all the same. But some of you will be coming more into that toning within, who do sound healing work and use crystal bowls and all those sorts of things, which many, many more are doing. You're going to have a different resonance with those now. They're going to start sounding different to you. So the frequencies within those crystal bowls even, I feel, are shifting and changing as well. So the tones in the crystal bowls are going to start moving and changing as well. And your resonance with them is definitely going to shift, and you will come into new frequency. The body already, I can feel those frequencies shifting within the bodies, which are now going to start bringing in more of that vibration within the cellular body, the cells resonating more with that and vibrating at a different frequency, which is going to actually create a very different way that you work in your body, a different way that you present yourself to the world and in this world harmonically. And so your sounds, everything about you are going to really shift and change. The cellular vibration, there's times when I know I'm listening to, you know, sound bowls, or sometimes I just put them on the YouTube and I lie with them. There's a guy that does some, and that he's very, very good anyway. There's one I connect with. Some of them I don't connect with, all of them. But some I connect with, and the one that I do connect with, one night I was lying there and I actually became the frequency. It was the very first time it had ever happened. And I was actually the frequency of these bowls. And my whole body wasn't a body anymore. It was a vibration of frequency without form. And it was just such a beautiful experience that I feel this is more and more what we're going to be doing. And when you're speaking, say like when I notice now, even when I'm at public speaking again, I feel the shift in the vibration within the room. I can feel others moving into that frequency. So it's becoming more palatable, in the sense that it's more solid, it's more powerful. And again, that's what I want to say to you all. Please don't be afraid of the word power. Use that word. Tell yourself how powerful you are. I know when I stood and anchored that energy at the Four Winds Healing Temple down at, you know, the Four Winds Temple site down at Bennydale, down by Te Kuiti, that power that came through me, it came because I know I can hold that power, and I didn't know that's what was going to happen, but it did. And in that moment, and in many moments prior to that, I had powerful, very, very powerful energy come through my body that others in the room were feeling. It wasn't just me. It was like moving everybody in the room, like strong, buckling knee stuff, like people were buckling at the knees. That's how strong. So I know I'm a very powerful being, and I have no qualms in saying that to anybody right now. I know that's who I am. So I would like you all to honour yourselves and take your power back. Take your power back. Be the most powerful being you can be. This is who you are. It's not time to hide anymore. Be comfortable with saying you're a powerful being. Know that the power that runs through your body actually creates planets. That's what it does. That's who you are. Remember who you are and actually allow yourself to have that power within you. Allow yourself to actually emanate that power out into this world, because you are an amazingly powerful being. And what we do is we get scared of it when we feel something shifting within our body and our form, and often it comes through us, through into our hands, and we're going to do some healing work or whatever it might be. Often people get afraid of that. And it's an excitement, but it's also a fear. And that was something I know I had. But man, I tell you what, I've learned to embrace that. And the more that I've embraced it, the more powerful I've got. And I do not mind saying that out loud. And I do not mind saying that I am a master here. And that's what we came in to do. We're already that in our higher being, our higher knowing, our consciousness. It's making sure that you know it in this form. And be that right now. This is what this world needs. And it's not even so much about that's what it needs. It just is. You just are that. Be that. Doesn't matter what everyone else is doing and what the world's doing out there. That actually doesn't matter. We think it does, but it actually doesn't. When you come into your neutral space of 0 point within yourself, and you are actually connected as a oneness and an allness to all, there is no matter about anything else. It's just you, and you know that everything you emanate is from that pure heart, that pure conscious state. And like I said, I think I said in that other chat around the big light wave that we had, is that when we come into that actual 0 point, there is no vibration. We talk about vibration and frequency, yes, because there is energy, and something might feel different to that feels different. So we consider it and we judge it all in an extension of this frequency here is higher, and oh, I'm in 5D. How do you know that actually? If you're saying you're in 5D, I think you're still an ego, and I think you still need to look at where you might be actually at. And we are not going to get into 5D until we're in 5D in here. That's it. And we have got many other 5Ds, many other Ds, dimensions, to work through and to get to. We're not even, like honestly, we're not just 5D. We aren't. We're multiple dimensional beings. We resonate at very high frequencies within those realms, and it's not just a 5D. Five's actually a bit of a low 0, really. You know? So keep doing what you're doing, but just recognize where you may be disempowering yourself, where you may be empowering something that you don't even want here on the planet, because wherever you give your energy to, you're empowering that. Make sure you empower yourself. Make sure you give your energy to you. Make sure where you choose to put it out into this world, in whatever way you do, make sure it's something that you really desire to be here. Not something that you don't want here, that you want going. You know, there's a lot of that on the planet that people are wanting out of the way. Then stop buying into it. Stop putting your energy into it. Stop focusing in there, because all you're doing is empowering it to be stronger, empowering it to be here, empowering it to disempower you. So bring your energy back to you. Bring your awareness back to you. Be the most powerful being that you can be on this planet. Walk your talk. Start looking at where you may not be honouring yourself, where you may not be sitting in your own integrity, where you may not be sitting in your own sovereignty. And check yourself. Just check. Check where you're giving it away. But this future timeline now, you've got everything that you need to take you into the best place you can be within yourself, for sure. And like I say, you shift this in here, it shifts that external out there. So if there's something out there that you're looking at, have a look in here. If that's something out there that's not happy, that's not making you happy, that's bringing you into a state of worry or despair or hopelessness or any of that stuff, look at what the connection is within your being that keeps you tied into that, because you're creating it into being. We've all created it into being. We've all been working by default, knowing and not knowing that we have been all co-creating this together. And now we're coming into a conscious awareness that we've actually been doing that, and now we're starting to look at it and choose differently. So in that now what we're doing is we're coming back to self, going, okay, that's not what I want in this world, that's not how I want my world to be, and we're taking responsibility. So I've taken responsibility for everything I've created throughout this world over the time that I've been on the planet, and I'm looking at that. I've looked at it, I've worked through as much of my cellular stuff as I can, and I will continue to do that on whatever thread that might show up, because I'm freeing myself every day. I'm looking at how can I be a better person, how can I be more in my own integrity, and how can I shine brighter out there today. And by just doing that, I'm assisting humanity without doing the other stuff that I do. So just keep doing what you're doing. Honestly, do the tweaks that you might do and need to do, and just really deeply love self. Stop talking to yourself as though it's a second person that you can't stand, or you despise, or you regret, or you have shame about, or any of those things. Cleanse yourself of all of that and work with the love within yourself. As I was saying, light is your friend. I didn't know how to really, what love, I mean, we know what love can feel like. I feel that we've all touched in that, and I feel that if we've ever given birth to our first baby, second baby, third baby, whoever many, or however many, we feel that love, we know that love, and we see it in the eyes of those innocents. We know that, but to actually be that all the time was something that I didn't think I could do or had the awareness of being. So it was like light and energy was something that I actually feel I actually can work with. I see it, I intuit it, I know it. And if that's how it works for you, then work with light. Love is that light. So it will fill you. The more you fill yourself with this light, the more you will come into that state of love. So be that love, be that light, like really just be it. And bring yourself into your heart. Bring yourself into your heart for you, of you, right? Love you deeply. Be the most in love with yourself that you can be. And don't think that that's conceited. It's not conceited. It's necessary for you to move into the oneness state that we're heading into. Because if you're separated within your heart about you, then you're still in a separation state within this whole realm. And that's what we're moving out of. So love yourself deeply. Tell yourself all the time. But when you tell yourself, absolutely mean it. Totally mean it. And watch your body shift. Watch the changes within your body, the feeling state within your body, and the healing that comes in. Much love, everyone. I have got to go right now. So take good care. Be the best light that you can be in this world. Be the light in your world and watch your world change. And much love. And if you've only caught the tail end of this, go back and watch it's still there on my page as a replay. Go in and listen, because we're in this new timeline now of our future. We've moved out. Before we moved into this new timeline, we were sitting in the present moment, and we were still connecting into the past. We couldn't really see future stuff coming in. Now we've shifted from that. We've moved into this new timeline, and now we're on our future trajectory. And this is why it's really important for you to put your most positive into this future trajectory of yourself and your future pathway. So have fun, enjoy your life, enjoy you, enjoy. Bring that joy. Speak it, be it, love it, taste it, smell it, do all of it. Be that joy, because that's a higher expression of love. Much love to you all. I am so rapt that you're all here doing this with me, because man, it'd be lonely if you weren't here with me. I love it. I love you all, and I so love when we can get together and have a big hug. Much love.